Do Canadians know their own history? Do they know their own place within the geopolitical order of the world? Do they have an instinctive understanding of geopolitics? Well, these are questions that can't really be answered in a sort of black and white kind of way. But nevertheless, there are some points worth keeping in mind. And one of them in particular is that Canadian publishing, Canadian fiction publishing, has really tended to avoid particular genres of narrative. For example, there are practically no spy thrillers. There are particular Canadian writers who've been doing this, like the Hyde brothers during the 1970s. Uh, there are Canadians who write spy thrillers, often about CIA spies and so forth, aimed at the American market. But the only Canadian novel that I can think of that has a spy in it is Sussex Drive by Lindis Fenson, and the spycraft is a very sort of minimal part of that story. Or the La Constellation de Lynx by Louis Hamelin, published in Quebec, which has to do with sort of the geopolitical background to the October crisis. Very interesting book, by the way. For the most part, however, Canadian publishers have really ignored geopolitics, and I think that is a mistake. And I think that's an area where the culture really needs to change because Canadians tend to sort of view the world through a moral lens, and that is fine up to a point. However, it does lead to problems because the world of geopolitics is a very brutal and, in many respects, amoral place, and it does mean that Canadians, literary Canadians, tend to sound a little bit self-righteous and not sort of conscious of nuance when they discuss geopolitical events. And you can see that right now in real time as the Canadian literati tries to make sense of what is happening with the national security strategy that the Trump administration just released, which is calling for a great reordering of the world order and is denouncing the sort of Cold War logic that Canada was sort of a bit player in for many decades.